Hello, it's Jimmy and I've had a new haircut. What do you think? So, I work in a bookshop and this morning I posted something on Instagram with a picture of something that we do quite often at the bookshop where I work, but I didn't know anything about before I started the job. So that got me thinking, why not do a video about things that you may not know about bookshops? So, number one, this is what I posted about on Instagram. I posted a picture of several big boxes full of books. And what were we doing with these books? Unfortunately, we were sending them back to the publisher. So if we get a book in stock and it hasn't sold after a certain amount of time, and that varies, we'll send it back to the publisher. And some of those books the publisher will sell on to another bookshop, or some of those books end up getting pulped. So when I first started this job, it made me quite sad picking books for a return, because especially if they're going to get pulped, it made me want to buy all of them to save them from their fate. But now my heart has hardened to it and I'm used to the idea. But if you don't like that idea, get out to the bookshop and buy more books and save them from the pulp. Number two, a common reason for us to return a book to the publisher is if we've got it in stock in hardback and the paperback comes out. So the moment we get the paperback in stock, we take the hardbacks off the shelves, we put them out the back, and we ask the publisher, will you credit us if we send you back these books? So what that means is, if you see a hardback of a book on the shelf or on display in the bookshop, it means that the paperback almost certainly isn't out yet, assuming your bookshop functions like the one I work in. Or at least, if it is out, the bookshop you're in hasn't had their stock in yet. It's worth asking the staff because they might be able to tell you when the book's coming out in paperback. Number three, every now and then we can't return a book back to the publisher. So for example, a lot of books with the year on it, like an annual, like the Private Eye Annual 2019, the publisher doesn't want to sell on. When they sell it to us, they basically tell us, we're not going to let you send this back. So we're aware of that and we have to take that into account when we place our orders for stock. But sometimes that's difficult to know and we might over order, and that's the case often with diaries as well. So if you have a 2019 diaries in stock, you want enough so that everyone who comes into the shop who wants one can get one. But then if you're left over in February with diaries, most people have got theirs in December or January. So what do we do when we've got a book or a diary or whatever that we can't return to the publisher and that we have been unable to sell and seems unlikely that we'll be able to sell? We put it on sale. And often that will be, at first we'll put it down to half price and then it will go below that. And quite often, even when it's at half price, we'll be losing money on that sale. So we'll be selling it to you for less than we got it from the publisher. It's still good for the shop because if nobody buys it at the sale price, it'll end up going in the recycling and then we don't even get the half price back. So we prefer to sell it at half price and lose 20p rather than put in the recycling and lose £5, for example. So the point I'm trying to make with this number three is that when you get things on a heavy discount that seem like a clearance sale or something in a bookshop, you're actually getting a very good deal, better than the shop itself gets from the publishers. Number four, if you go into the shop hoping to find a specific book and you look on the shelf, you look in the right section, you look alphabetically where it should be and it's not there, I would suggest always asking a member of staff whether they have that book. They can look it up in the system and it may turn out that it's in a different section than you expected. Maybe it's on display on a special shelf and there isn't a copy left in the main section. It might be that it just arrived in a delivery half an hour ago and it's still out the back and they haven't put it out yet. So it's always worth asking. They might also then be able to offer to order it for you or even arrange to have it delivered to you. Or they could offer a suitable alternative or recommend another book. Also, if you can't remember the title or you can't remember the author and you can't find the book, it's definitely worth bringing it up with a member of staff, because just by saying what you can remember about it, maybe that member of staff has read it or knows about it, and they might be able to tell you where it is and show you the book. Or even if you just can say, oh, it was about World War II and I heard it on Radio 4 this morning at about 8 o'clock, then the bookseller, member of staff might be able to just go and Google it, go on the website of that radio program and find which author were they interviewing this morning. So members of staff in a bookshop are usually going to be very happy to help you find the book you're after. So that leads me to point number 5. Oh, I imagine almost everyone who works in a bookshop really loves books. Maybe that's obvious, maybe it's not. But the reason I bring it up is basically that the members of the staff in the bookshop are happiest when they're discussing books, whether it's with each other or with a customer. So if you go in and you're just browsing, you're not sure what you're after, go and talk to one of the members of staff, unless they're extremely busy, of course. But usually they'll be happy to put down the stack of books they're carrying, talk to you about what kind of books you like, make some recommendations, just talk about a book that you both liked. They will really enjoy it. And if you love books, you're talking to someone who knows a lot of books. So it will hopefully be an enjoyable conversation for both of you. I find I get a lot of customers who are browsing the shop. Often they're looking for a gift, and I ask them if I can help with anything, and they say, or I might say, are you looking for anything in particular? And they will say, oh, I'm just looking for inspiration. And I kind of think often when you don't know what you're after and you're just sort of browsing and looking at things, often inspiration isn't going to strike. So I think in that situation, a recommendation might be better, more reliable anyway, than inspiration. And either way, just by asking, you'll probably brighten that member of staff's day a little bit because they get to talk about a book that they like. And finally, number 6. It's still retail. So I really love my job. I really love where I work. I've done other jobs. I've done office jobs. I've done better paying jobs. And none of them have been as enjoyable or made me as happy as working in a bookshop like I do now. But it's still retail. The pay is still bad. You still have to deal with the general public. Anyone could come into your shop. A lot of book lovers are really nice, but of course, every now and then you get someone horrible. You can be under a lot of pressure. You don't know what the conditions are for the person who's serving you and talking to you about books. So my point is, it's still a retail job, a very nice one compared to a lot of retail jobs, but it's still retail. So be nice to the person that's serving you. Just keep in mind they might be having a hard day. They probably will be struggling with money. They're very happy to stand there and talk to you about books. But the job is not entirely as idyllic as standing around reading and talking about books all day. So just be sensitive to the thoughts and feelings of the people selling you books. Okay. If you want to get in touch, you can leave a comment on YouTube. You can tweet me at JIIME, that's JIIM_E. You can get me on Instagram at Jimmy_can_read. All the links are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I hope to see you soon around the bookshop. Bye!